And then it was just like, what the hell am I doing? Why didn't anybody tell me about this? I know this is the worst possible way to start a video, but I want to start off by saying I'm not sure how I'm going to greet my audience yet. So beware that the first few videos, they're going to change a lot until I can find that one that makes sense. With that being said, today's video is going to be about when to start your art business. I know it seems like a simple enough question. When do I start my art business? But I think there's some things that you want to keep in mind before you jump in and then you end up with years of no success and get discouraged. The most straightforward answer I can give you is start your business when it makes sense to. And what I mean by that is make sure that you have a paying or engaging audience before you start. Now, before you say this woman doesn't know what the hell she's talking about, let me elaborate. The last thing you want to do is put all your money into starting your business and all the expenses that requires, and you don't even have a customer base. And what will end up happening is that you're going to be out all of this money with no money coming in. So one of the first things I would recommend is to build your online presence. This helps you gain followers even if they aren't paying. Somebody is engaging. You need to see what type of content that you provide people will actually gravitate to. They'll want this product or item that you're selling with your art on it. Now, some people like to stick to t-shirts, canvases, prints, but you may want to go and take this extra step. But you don't know if your audience is even going to put money into that, and why waste your time preparing something that nobody's going to buy. Now, if you go ahead of time and you put out little mock-ups of what you'd like to sell, if you go and engage with your audience and say, hey, do you guys like this? You get feedback ahead of time, and that can tell you how you should promote in the future. Also, everybody's attention span is very short. So what you want to do is post very often. Even if it's just once a day, you need to make sure that you're on the forefront of everybody's mind. You also don't want to do it too much that they get sick of seeing your stuff and then they're not paying attention to what you're bringing to the table. And what you want to do when you're posting online is diversify what you're posting so that when you look back, you can look at your analytics and see what performed well, what maybe you need to tweak, and you can actually play around with a lot of different things so that when you actually start your business, you have an idea of this is the demographic that I'm actually trying to reach. The next thing I would say is to build your portfolio. So this doesn't only include attending events that are virtual, but you also want to appeal to your local community. So you want to attend art walks, you want to attend artisan markets, you want to attend other collaborations that you can do with local artists. You want to get your work out there so that other people are seeing it, and then you can actually get honest in-person feedback on what you're selling. I can go into a little more detail about what you would want to prepare later on. So let me know in the comments if you actually want to know more about how to participate in in-person events. But with that said, you want to make sure that you're appealing to your local community, because at the end of the day, that'll also save you the hassle of having to ship things. You may be able to just give it to the person or sell to the person in person, and you don't have to worry about the shipping costs or anything like that. Another thing that's overlooked, you can also go to your local restaurants or businesses and say, hey, do you mind if I put up some of my art or some of my work in your office, which you give them a free opportunity to furnish their businesses, also while getting exposure. Now, some of them will say no, but it doesn't hurt to ask. And then that way, when they get the traffic that they're supposed to get for their business, somebody may inquire, like, hey, what about this artist? Where did you get this art? Where can I reach out to them? That type of thing. So then you also create opportunities for yourself. So never underestimate the power of networking. You want to reach out to local artists, you want to reach out to local like vendors that may be interested in putting up some of your stuff if they just want to help a new artist. You just have to go after the opportunities. That way, once you know who is going to be purchasing your art, you have a solid idea to say, you know what, I need to make this official, and then I can continue on with my business. Or you may even want to tweak what you're actually producing. But this gives you a lot of data ahead of time so that you can have a very successful first or second year. A lot of these things take some time, mainly because art is subjective. It has to be the right person that feels what you're putting out and everything. A lot of people gravitate towards abstract art, so I think that one actually has a lot more presence everywhere. But if depending on the type of artist that you are, you definitely want to make sure that your audience is there. And you could also even get information ahead of time on what your pricing should be, like what somebody is willing to pay for the products that you give out. So I think before you start your business, you want to do enough research so that we can roll into my next point, which is having a solid business idea. I know it sounds simple, it sounds stupid. It's like, obviously, I'm selling art. That's my business idea. But honestly, most people gravitate towards having a theme or some type of message behind the art, and they want to be able to connect to the pieces that you're giving. So you want to know who you're targeting and what is precious to those people, what actually motivates them to buy. You need to do a lot of research so you can get to the idea of, this is what my business is going to be about and this is what I'm selling. I say all of this to say a lot of people would start an art business and they say, I'm going to start my business because this is the art that I enjoy creating. But what they fail to realize is that you can create all the art you want, but if you want to sell it, it needs to be for somebody who's going to buy it. You can't make the art for yourself only. You need to keep in mind your customer base. And the last thing that I want to go into is make sure that you have that commitment and that drive to start your business. Because what will happen is you'll underestimate the time and all of the effort that it takes to get the business up and running, all of the components that are required to actually start your business properly. And you'll be like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. You get discouraged. You probably want to just do it from a enjoyable aspect. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but if you actually want to have a business, you need to know the difference. You need to be able to say, I am running a business, I am committed to doing all of these things that requires running this business, versus I want to have my art, sell my art, it's just for enjoyment, and I can make a little bit of money to actually offset some of the costs. In that case, then you have a hobby that you just want to have a little bit of money that will require you to be able to continue to buy supplies and things like that. But you need to have that distinction in your mind. I am doing this as a hobby and it's not my business. Well, that's all of the information that I have on what you want to keep in mind for when you're starting a business. And I'll just say that hopefully this information helps you in deciding on whether you want to take the plunge into an art business, or if you just want to stay as a hobbyist for a few years until you find what actually differentiates that for you. But I will tell you that keeping a lot of the information that I put in this video in mind when you're going through that process, it will help you get your business off the ground a lot faster when you start. Because these are things that I didn't even think about when I decided I wanted to start my business. I just said, hey, you know what? I've been saying that I'm going to start this business for years. And I'm like, you know what? I don't need to start this business right now. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. On the spur of the moment, we're going to start this business. And then it was just like, what the hell am I doing? Why didn't anybody tell me about this? Blah, 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 blah. So I recommend keeping these things in mind, doing your research, and then you should have a very lucrative first few years, and that will also allow you to start strong. Now, that's all I have for you today. So let me know in the comments if this helped you or if you have anything else to add to what I actually said before you start your business. See you next time.